Hardcore WoW is unlike anything else. One life, no second chances, every decision matters, and for me, it was one of the most intense, stressful and rewarding experiences I've ever had in World of Warcraft. I first dabbled in hardcore on unofficial servers using the community-made add-on, but my lack of classic World of Warcraft experience held me back. When Blizzard finally launched their official hardcore realms in 2023, I gave it another shot, but I never made it past level 34. It wasn't until the 20th anniversary Fresh Realms in late 2024 that I fully committed this time. At first, it didn't feel that special, but as I kept playing, as I started to get close calls, I felt it. That rush, the moment when everything is on the line and you either survive or start over from scratch. My heart was racing, I was locked in, and when I barely escaped death, my relief was unreal. I started as an undead rogue to play alongside my partner Frostami, who rolled as a mage. We had fun at the start, but she was less invested in the game, so I eventually created a solo character. A hunter. I knew hunter was the safest choice. It's got the best chances of survival and I wanted to make it to 60. Some might say it's too easy, but to me, hardcore was still an unknown challenge. I had no clue what to expect beyond level 30, and I wasn't taking any chances. I had seen too many hardcore death clips on YouTube, people losing their characters to dungeon groups, unexpected patrols, or even something as ridiculous as the Undercity elevator. I didn't trust anyone but myself. Playing Hunter meant I could control my fate without depending on others. I could pull mobs carefully, use my pet as a shield, and always have feign death as a last resort. But hardcore is about more than just class choice. It's a mindset shift. Every enemy feels like a real threat. Every decision matters. I wasn't just playing to level, I was playing to survive. The early levels were rough. Low stats, weak gear, barely any abilities. I had to make do with the basics. There were moments where I'd pull just one extra mob and instantly regret it. Every fight felt like a gamble where a single mistake meant running for my life. And even though I was taking things slow, every now and then I'd have to react fast, dodging patrols, kiting mobs, or dropping aggro to survive. It was a constant test of patience and decision making. Slowly but surely I built confidence. As I gained more levels, I started to feel the power curve shift. I had more tools, my pet has become stronger, and my margin for error grew slightly. But even then, I never let my guard down, because in hardcore, one moment of carelessness could erase everything. Hardcore World of Warcraft changed how I played entirely. Regular classic World of Warcraft can feel slow and outdated, but hardcore brings real stakes into the mix. I wasn't just cautious, I was hyper aware of every risk, including one that a lot of players might overlook: getting PvP flagged by an NPC guard. See, in hardcore, if an alliance guard attacks you, it can force you into PvP mode, and that's when things can get dangerous, because now, for the next 5 minutes, any enemy player can kill you. Logging out won't save you. You have to stay in the game and hope no one from the opposing faction is lurking nearby. Some zones are worse than others. Hillsborough Foothills, for example, is mostly safe for Horde, but wander too close to South Shore or accidentally aggro a Stormpike guard near Alterac Mountains and you're suddenly a walking target. In hardcore, even the smallest mistakes can mean permadeath, so I had to constantly think 3 steps ahead. And that wasn't the only thing I had to watch out for. Every quest had to be planned, every pull had to be calculated. Traveling between zones took forever because I refused to take risks. I would sort my quest log from lowest level to highest and complete the safest ones first. If it meant crossing continents to do a green quest instead of an orange one nearby, I took the long route. Was it boring? sometimes. But was it worth it? Absolutely. My character's life was depending on it. Even downtime felt different. I wasn't just alt-tabbing while running across the map. I was scanning my surroundings, making sure I wasn't heading into danger. I kept checking my buffs, my food, my ammo, making sure I was always prepared. Every single action in the game carried a new level of weight. But what really got me was the unknown. Hardcore World of Warcraft is a knowledge check. If you don't know what's coming, it will catch you off guard. And that fear, that was the best part. It made every step feel important. It made me respect the game. Even when nothing was happening, I was on edge. My heart would start racing when I stepped into a new area. I didn't know what was around the corner. Would it be a simple quest or a death trap? I had to prepare for everything, even when I didn't know what everything was. Some of the most dangerous moments came from quests that seemed simple on the surface, and the worst ones, caves. Anyone who's played hardcore knows exactly what I mean. The problem with caves isn't just the enemies, it's the respawns. You work your way in, fighting mobs carefully, clearing a path, but if you take too long, those mobs start respawning behind you, cutting off your escape. And if you need to run, there's only one way out. If you mistime it, you're stuck between the mobs ahead and the ones respawning behind you. I avoided caves as much as I could, but sometimes you don't have a choice. And it wasn't just caves. Some enemies had abilities I had no idea about. On one of my alt characters, a troll shaman, I was doing my water totem quest in Ashenvale. I pulled a mob that was a few levels higher than me. Dangerous, but not impossible. Then I made the mistake of accidentally pulling a second one. That's when I found out these mobs could root you in place for 9 seconds. I had no way to break free, no way to escape, and that was it. I was dead before the root even wore off. I didn't just lose a character that day, I learned a lesson. Hardcore is a game of unknowns. No matter how careful you are, you'll eventually run into something you weren't prepared for. And that's what makes it exciting. Because in hardcore, every lesson is paid for in blood. Looking back at it, I wish I was less afraid of dungeons and risky quests. Playing it too safe meant I missed out on some of the most exciting moments hardcore has to offer. One of my biggest mistakes was late into my journey. I had completed almost every high-level zone: Winter Spring, Burning Steppes, Western Plaguelands, and Eastern Plaguelands. But I hit a wall. There were no more quests left that felt safe. I could have done dungeons, but I didn't trust strangers with my character's life. So instead, I spent 4 hours grinding mobs to reach level 60. I played it safe, but I also made it boring for myself. And in hindsight, I should have taken the risk. The biggest lesson, hardcore is as big as you make it. You can play it safe, or you can crank up the difficulty. And the more risk you take, the more fulfilling the journey becomes. But that's also why I'm playing again. This time, I'm leveling a warrior with Frostami as a priest. Warrior is one of the hardest classes to level in hardcore, but now that I've done it once, I'm more willing to take risks. I know the game better, I know the danger zones, and I know that the best moments come from pushing yourself to the limit. Players like Zaryu take this to the next level, handicapping themselves with suboptimal builds just to make the game harder. That's what makes hardcore special. You create your own challenge. When I go again, I would take more risks. I would push myself out of my comfort zone and embrace the thrill of it, because at the end of the day, that's what makes hardcore so special. Every moment, every challenge, every close call is yours to make. So if you've never tried hardcore World of Warcraft before, my advice is to set your expectations. Classic World of Warcraft was never designed for this. and you will eventually die and lose your character. But if you have the patience and want a real challenge, you're in for one of the most unforgettable experience World of Warcraft has to offer. And when you do eventually die, you go again. If you like these kind of videos, let me know in the comments below. As always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.